Good afternoon, or wherever you are. My name is Jeremy Cammy. I am the events architect here at Indigo Books and Music. Thank you for joining us. It's June 15th. Wherever you are, we hope that you're safe. We hope that you're healthy. We are so excited that we're ending the day with this event. I'm truly honored to be speaking with Melanie Watt. I have two kids of my own. She babysat them through us telling story times over the course of many years. So I hope that you are as excited as I am. As you can see, it's 5 o'clock and I am high. I'm high on life. Melanie will be joining us shortly to discuss the Scaredy Squirrel graphic novel and picture book. Got them here, read them both, love them, and love the fact that there's actually a graphic novel. So very excited. And this is what we need right now during this pandemic. We speak about anxiety, we speak about fear, and I'm a germaphobe. So trust me, I've been anxious and I've been fearful over the course of the past year. This event is being co-hosted by Indigo Books and Music, which is located in Canada, and An Unlikely Story in the United States. So hello to our southern neighbors. We hope that you're safe and healthy. We cannot wait for the borders to be open when they're safe to do so. And I will love to come visit. I actually have family living in Massachusetts. So hopefully we can visit soon. I encourage everyone watching to visit the pages of both stores, Indigo and An Unlikely Story, which best fits you if you're American or if you're Canadian, wherever you're tuning in from, to order copies of both Scaredy Squirrel in a Nutshell and the graphic novel Scaredy Squirrel Goes Camping as well, the picture book. We're putting the links in those chat in the chat right now as we speak through the magic of technology. No hands, but those links will appear. I am joining you from Toronto, Canada, the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat people, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis. Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Melanie is joining us from outside Montreal, Quebec, on the unceded indigenous land of Kanehane-Kahaka, Mohawk Nation. And we recognize this as the custodians of the lands and waters on which you are calling in from today. And now on to the main event. So this is very exciting. I'm going to introduce Melanie. We're going to have a short conversation. We're going to do a little bit of illustrations, and then we want to get to your question. So leverage, use that chat functionality. Parents and kids, use the functionality, ask those questions, and we'll try and get to as many questions as we can. And we hope to wrap up by about 5:45 p.m. So, Scaredy Squirrel in a nutshell. You know him, you love him. Scaredy Squirrel is back with a brand new novel series. He's funnier and scarier than ever. And the time for this anxious little guy, wow, it is perfect right now. He's just happy to stay in his nut tree. Why would you ever want to leave? The outside world is filled with dangers. Does it sound familiar right now? Kids, does it sound familiar? It's getting better. It's like aliens and dust and certain fluff bunnies who pop up everywhere. Things don't always go as planned, even for a super prepared squirrel. When he has to venture out of his tree and onto the ground, Scaredy panics, sometimes plays dead, but may be fearful of that fluff bunny. Maybe that fluff bunny isn't so scary after all. Find out, you got to pick up this book. Melanie Watt is also reissuing picture books of Scaredy Squirrel this fall, starting with Scaredy Squirrel Goes Camping, which I love also. If you're doing anything in the summer and you're staying around, you got to read this book because we're all probably going to go camping rather than traveling. All right, let's do it. On to our main event, Melanie Watt. Melanie Watt is the best-selling creative genius behind many beloved picture books for children, including Scaredy Squirrel series, the Chester series, Bug in a Vacuum. You're finally here. Have I got a book for you? Augustine, the list goes on. Melanie has also won, if you go onto her pages, she has won so many awards. You'll see, you'll keep filtering over the years, so many awards, including Publishers Weekly, Kirkus Reviews, Virginia Reader's Choice Award, North Carolina Children's Book Award, Maryland's Black-Eyed Susan Award. She is even a multiple winner in Ontario, where I live, of the Library Association's Spruce Award and the Ruth and Sylvia Schwartz Children's Book Award. Obviously, she has just published this book, and we're here to talk to her today about this and many others. Ladies and gentlemen, folks, Melanie Watt, welcome to the stage.
Hi, thank you. Wow.
Like,
That's an awesome introduction, Jeremy. Thank you.
I'm speaking for so long, giving you this introduction. I have to tell you something. So my kids are now 18 and 16. So back in 2006, when you first published, so we're talking 15 years ago.
Yep.
I wasn't kidding when I said that you babysat my children. Many story times we had Scaredy Squirrel in hand. How does it make you feel to know that there's this whole generation that's grown up with this character and even Chester and possibly this new generation? Does it surprise you?
It does, but it's like the greatest gift, I think. It makes me feel a little bit old, but try not to think about that part. No, I think it's really the best thing ever to know that, they still remember Scaredy, they remember me after all this time, and that it had a positive influence at one point in their childhood. So it's awesome.
Talk to me a bit about the pandemic. And I've interviewed many authors. I'm curious to know why now. What is it like releasing a book, reissuing a book during a pandemic? And do you miss going to the stores and meeting all of your fans, all the kids and all the families?
Well, I knew I wanted to make a Scaredy book, but I really actually started working on it before the pandemic, which is a little bizarre in a way, because I was writing about social distancing, when he has a tape, measuring tape to keep a distance from the bunny and the toilet paper. All of that I had done before the pandemic. So I was like, this is kind of like a little spooky the way things are coming together. But I figured, it's an ideal timing for Scaredy right now because we can relate to him even more. But I think everything used to be out of context before with Scaredy, with his Purell and everything 15 years ago. But today, everyone's living with that. So, humor takes a different direction today because it actually happens. We actually all have Purell. We actually all have masks, unlike Scaredy, who was the only one doing that 15 years ago. But for sure, I miss going out there. I miss bookstores. I miss a lot of stuff like everyone else. It's a difficult time. We all have to adapt, and hopefully we're almost there.
So talk to us a bit about, and look, I'm very honest. I'm anxious. I am a germaphobe. I was fist bumping a long time before we were using Purell or shaking hands. But
Me too.
Yeah, what I can say is that working in a bookstore, and obviously an unlikely story as well, there is something so beautiful, so natural about reading to children and discussing topics of the day or world issues. And we all know, Melanie, the world is messy. It's been messy for over a year now. When you have kids and parents pick up these books, what are you hoping that they learn from this? Obviously, we talk about anxiety. Obviously, we're talking about the pandemic. Do you hope that in some way, shape, or form that this book and the series of books help? Because Scaredy Squirrel is just that. He's scared. Like all of us, we're scared.
I think everyone can relate to being scared, and especially scared of the unknown. Like, it's what we don't know that's freaking us out. And that's why Scaredy, I think, can relate to anyone of any age. Pretty much. So what I'm hoping is that it starts discussions between kids and their parents or teachers, because you kind of need an entryway into the discussion that's not too heavy, too scary. It's like, we need to understand like that there's some fears that make more sense than others. It just depends on the context, really. And Scaredy, when he's afraid of sharks in a river, well, there you go. There's a problem. Why is he afraid of dust bunnies? So, you kind of have to look at the context. And the other thing is that knowledge is power. The more you know something, the less you fear it. So that's what I'm hoping the message that is going to come across with Scaredy as a character.
So let's get inside the genius that is your mind. And it's true. And
Thank you.
2006, we've got a television series in 2011. And in fact, one of my friends was one of the voiceovers for one of your characters, which is like 6 degrees of separation. Johnny Gould was one of the voiceovers. So the whole thing is so strange, but let's get back to it. All right. So let's talk about the illustrations. I'm always fascinated when you have both an author and an illustrator. What comes first? Does the story come first, or do the illustrations come first? And how do they come together?
Well, the idea comes first. So, and then the way I work is it's kind of a mix of both, because whatever I can't say with an illustration, I'll say it in words, and it goes both ways. So for me to build a story, I like to use both. And I'm a visual person, especially because I studied graphic design. So sometimes it can be like, okay, I'm going to put this crazy nutty map full of details. So I need the next page to breathe. I need space. So I'm going to build my book so that it has a flow, and I'm going to use the visuals and the text to do that.
All right, so let's get into the actual book. Scaredy Squirrel in a nutshell meets next door neighbor who is a bunny, or dust bunny, so to speak. It can be, for all the kids who are listening, it can be scary to meet new people. It can be scary to be the only person in the courtyard. So what are the tips for overcoming that fear? How do you meet new people without being afraid?
Well, the thing in this book is that, oh, here he is, the dust bunny. He starts out fearing a dust bunny, but as the story goes, it gets more precise as to who this bunny is. So it kind of goes back to my idea where, knowledge is power. The more you know about something, the less you fear it. So he has in his mind this thing where this is a dust bunny. It's dangerous. I don't want anything to do with it. But as the book goes, he's going to learn more about this dust bunny that's going to turn into a bunny. And I don't know if I can say anymore, but it's going to have a name. So and who knows, they might have a friendship there. So I think that's how I've constructed the book. It's kind of like a buildup of knowing more and more about your environment and fearing it less and less, because you get more comfortable with what's out there.
Let's talk a bit about the characters. The characters that you develop, are those characters that come to your mind? Have you ever had kids tell you, oh, you know what? The chipmunk would make a good character, or a cow would make a good character. You must have gotten either fan mail, emails, or requests live in person over the years. Curious to know, and you're laughing already.
Yeah.
I've touched a nerve. Curious to know the types of characters either you've thought of, or maybe the children have asked you to draw and to illustrate.
Well, one of the one that came the most often as a request was, when is Chester and Scaredy going to be in the same book? And I was like, oh yeah, well, I'm not sure that we can do that. But that's definitely one of the requests, because I don't know, they like both characters and they wonder how they would interact. And I think that's what's fun about this graphic novel approach, is that now Scaredy talks. He has speech bubbles. He communicates. We used to read him, it was a narration, so it was a different approach to the story, but now we really know what he's thinking, how he's going to say it, what types of words he's going to use. And that would actually be funny to see him have a discussion with Chester. And but
that's good. A couple more questions, and I definitely want to see some illustrations. I grew up on picture books. My children grew up on picture books, but then all of a sudden we had comic books as well, but graphic novels really exploded over the past few years. So when I pick up this book, and for everybody out there, if you don't have it yet, there's a lot of pages in here. So trust me, this is not an average picture book. This is an actual graphic novel. Why the departure? Why did you decide graphic novel, or even the fact of maybe now's the right time for a graphic novel? Was it because your fans asked you for it, or the writing was longer and it made sense?
Well, it was a lot of things coming together. Publishers and discussions and trying to find a fresh new way of putting Scaredy out there. And for me also, it makes it an adventure for me, because I've never done a graphic novel. I don't know how to do one. I was kind of stressed out, going like, I don't know many comic books. It's not my thing, but I kind of like it because I jumped into the unknown and figured it out. But yeah, it was kind of a mix of all of that, and hopefully maybe the age group is going to be a little bit older. And they'll be able to follow from picture book to graphic novel and enjoy Scaredy even longer.
Is there a bit of Scaredy in you, and is there a bit of you in Scaredy? What's your biggest fear?
Biggest fear? Well, I like to control things for sure, but that's a Chester thing too. So controlling everything is my thing. And one of my biggest fears as a kid was, I watched Jaws as a kid, which was a bad idea, I think. So I was convinced there was a shark in our pool. So I must admit, I could hear the soundtrack when I was putting my head in the water. Too much imagination. Yeah, there you go.
So we're going to get to drawing after this one final question from me, and that is your advice to all the kids watching right now who are either journaling, drawing, illustrating. What's your advice to all the young writers and the young illustrators and artists?
Well, my advice would be to not be afraid to share your idea, because I can show you something that's here on my.
Sure.
This is actually the first mock-up I ever made of Scaredy Squirrel I showed to the publisher. And I know Tara's on right now on the Zoom, so she's probably going to remember. But what I did is I put together, the infamous page of ideas with the germs. And it's kind of a scary thing to put your ideas down on paper and to assemble this little mock-up with your Scotch tape and papers and scissors. But I think it's the first step is to convince yourself. And I think this is a good process. So kids, if you have ideas or about stories or drawings that you really love, you don't even need a story with it. Like you just, take care of what the creations you do, like put them in a special frame or make a little book. And I think that's the first step of really, cherishing what you do, because an idea is an important thing.
Totally agree. And you have many. All right, let's get to what you do best, both writing and illustrating. So over to you to show us the beauty of illustration.
Okay, so we're here in my office, as you can see, and I'm gonna just unplug. I think you can still hear me.
I can hear you.
Perfect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start drawing Scaredy Squirrel. So I start from the top down. So here's the top of his head. His ears. And Scaredy has, I don't know if you can see, kind of a big head. I'm not used to drawing this big, so I usually draw on a tablet or a smaller piece of paper. His nose is just a U. And then you put a line. And Scaredy has a huge smile. So here we go. And what gives some dimension to his smile is to add some shadow in the corners, like the little rectangle. And then what's missing? The teeth, of course. And they're not quite right. So what's missing again is like that line between the teeth and the eyes. I always leave like a little white spot in the eye to kind of create a light. There he is waving. Here, it's an acorn.
Yeah.
The only thing Scaredy seems to want to eat.
It's amazing how it comes to shape, how we had no idea what you were drawing, and all of a sudden we've got a face, we've got hands, we have an acorn.
I can see, maybe you can't see the feet properly, but
The feet we can't see yet, but maybe once you're finished with the feet, you
Yeah.
can just lift up the paper and show us. There's the tail,
kind of see the feet now.
almost.
Here's, I forgot this line here. It's got two colors. So I don't know if you can see the feet now.
Getting better. Yep, there you go. Perfect.
There.
I'm curious to, this is fantastic. And I want this is, can we do one more?
Sure.
I would love for all the kids. So kids, you're at home right now with your parents. We'll give you 10 or 15 seconds. Would love for you to get a piece of paper, ask your parents, paper and a pen or a marker. And we're actually going to try and follow or trace or draw with Melanie at the same time. So Melanie, can we do any character you want? We could do another character, but I would love for the kids to follow along and maybe see if they can somehow replicate or redesign what you're doing as best they possibly can. So kids, do you have the markers? Do you have the paper? We'll give you 10 more seconds. And in the meantime, while we're counting down, part of the newest book, we talk about pizza in the book. So Melanie, I have to ask, it's the biggest debate in the world. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no? Forget anchovies. I want to know about pineapple on pizza. Yes or no?
No.
Okay. All right. You heard it here. Pineapple, not on pizza. Okay, Melanie. All right. Let's go for it. Kids, we're going to draw with Melanie. Melanie, over to you again. Maybe tell us. Okay, go ahead.
We can draw 3 things Scaredy is afraid of. I like
Perfect.
this many, but here are 3. So let's start with something basic. A circle, 3 legs, 2 eyes. There you go. It's Gary the germ. And what I do to make Gary look a little scarier, spookier, I add eyebrows. Very important for Scaredy's fears. You want to try another one?
Looks like he's angry now. Is that what that's exactly it?
Yeah, Scary angry.
There you go. All right, next one.
This one is going to be a bee. So you guys following me? We're going to put 2 stripes and a stinger. And what's missing on my bee to turn it into a killer bee? Eyebrow.
Another angry. Look at that. See the eyebrows make all the difference.
Yeah. If
Who
kids
knew?
learn something today about drawing, The importance of the expression and eyebrow. And how about another one that's kind of annoying these days when we go camping? Circle, an oval, wings again. And there you go. It's a mosquito. And now you guys must know what's missing on the mosquito, right? Eyebrows.
I see a trend here.
There sure is. So I hope you guys gonna practice, and you'll spot a lot of eyebrows in my books for sure, in all the Scaredy backlists and books. Yeah.
Good job, kids. Scaredy Squirrel goes camping. As we can see, the marshmallow on the front. I got to ask you, Melanie, what's the proper way to roast a marshmallow? I'd like to know, is it golden brown, or do you have to put it right into the fire? It's charcoal. The best way to eat a marshmallow?
It can't be burnt. You don't want fire on it. No.
No
Yeah,
fire. You
but
don't want to blow up the fire.
be patient for that kind of stuff. I get someone else to do it for me.
I agree with you. And since we're talking about
My
Scaredy
husband
Squirrel,
does it for me.
oh really?
Yeah, I said, can you please make me one?
Since we're talking about Scaredy Squirrel, acorn and nuts, I have to ask you this also. Peanut butter, smooth or crunchy?
Smooth.
The only way to go.
Yeah.
So now I know. Now I know if we ever meet, I can't bring over a pizza with any pineapple on it, and you only eat smooth peanut butter.
Yeah. But I love
Okay.
chocolate. So s'mores would be a good idea.
Oh, but this is for all you kids out there. I love chocolate also. The question though is milk chocolate, dark chocolate, white chocolate.
A mix of dark and regular chocolate.
Okay,
No,
good. So we're on
you
the
kind
same
of
page.
mix
That's
it.
great. Yeah, that's great. I don't want to put you on the spot because I want to get to audience questions soon. But do you want to read a couple of pages from one of the books? It's up to you.
I can.
You want to do a story? I'm only saying this because for all the kids out there, how amazing is this that we actually have an author illustrator who reads her own book to us? Usually it's mom, dad, caregiver, grandparent, but to think that the author is actually going to read to us, how cool is that? Do you mind reading a couple of pages?
No problem.
All right, which one?
I'm going to take Scaredy Squirrel in a nutshell. Chapter 1, Safe and Sound. Scaredy Squirrel watches over his nut tree with his binoculars. A few trespassers Scaredy Squirrel is afraid could drop by. Mammoths, of course, must uproot tree. Woodpeckers must poke holes in tree. Aliens must beam up tree. Lumberjacks must build cabin with tree. Cats must sharpen claws on tree. And termites must terminate tree. So these are all the scary things that could attack Scaredy's tree. So he's been going out on a limb to secure the area. Knock on wood. This page is blank for superstitious reasons. Must jinx tree. You see there? Number 13.
That's right.
Nothing on number 13. So here he is, a cute little baby squirrel. Scaredy Squirrel began protecting his nut tree at an early age. Warning, cute factor might be overwhelming for some. Wooden train sidetracks termites. So that's how you get rid of termites, so they don't go up your tree. Traffic cone fends off aliens, of course. And there's more. As Scaredy's nut tree grew, so did his safety measures. So he has a snowy tree decoy, a fake sign that says plaid sale in the city. I imagine that's for the lumberjacks. Scratching post for the kittens or cats. Disco ball is for the woodpecker. Garden gnome, well, I'm not sure yet. We don't know. I think he's a safety guard. But pros of having all this stuff: objects distract trespassers. Cons: objects attract dust, and dust gathers what? Dust bunnies. Oh no. According to Scaredy Squirrel, must spread dust around tree. Signals a bunch of dusty siblings with antenna. Digs burrows, sneezes, adorable pom-pom tail. 97% sure he's pals with Gary the germ. So luckily Scaredy knows how to keep things clean with a scuba mask, dust repellent suit, pair of rubber gloves, and a vacuum. Do I continue?
No, that's perfect. I just wanted everyone to see how beautiful the illustrations are, as well as
Thank
the story.
you.
And I was following along. So this is my favorite part. This is real, unrehearsed. These are actual questions from the audience. And I know that you'll engage with us and you want to answer the questions. So I'm going to try the best that I can, pronounce all the names right, and to try and get the names. So first question from Michelle. What is the bravest thing Scaredy has ever done?
The bravest thing Scaredy has done. Like ever, or in the graphic novel?
I think we could just say, it doesn't make a difference. It just says, what is the bravest thing? So it could be ever in any of the books, or perhaps it's even in your mind, up to you.
It's a good one. It's like, because in one book, he let a dog lick his face, which was pretty brave. I don't know if I would do that. let a dog lick my face.
You're right. It also depends upon the dog, but a dog licking face, that's a good answer. No, that's fine. Lisa asks, oh, this is a great one. So Lisa asks, what has Scaredy Squirrel been doing during the COVID pandemic?
I don't think it's changed very much for him. I think he was hanging out at home anyway. He had his ton of Purell, he had his masks and everything, and watching the news, and I think it was the same old for him, like same old days.
That's all good. It's fine. Henry asks, will Scaredy Squirrel ever go to space?
Probably. If it happens, it'll probably be like a mistake or something. I'm not sure he would do it on purpose, but it would be cool to see what he does in space.
I agree. And how frightful and scared he is of space.
Yeah.
Leia asks, when did you first come up with the idea of Scaredy Squirrel, or even your other characters? And do you remember the moment, or was there an actual squirrel that got you dreaming?
Well, I remember, it was 15 years ago. It was right where I'm sitting right now. It didn't look like this. We were renovating the house. It was like in pieces. And I was at my computer and I typed for the first time the word Scaredy Squirrel on my computer. And I had this weird feeling about it. I was like, is this bizarre, or is this like, that when that first idea comes out and you're kind of scared because you're not sure like if it makes any sense or not, but there's something about it that's going to work out. But I remember that feeling super well. And yeah, I've been watching squirrels forever and thinking they're a perfect neurotic animal. And I thought they would make a perfect character for a book about fear. And what was really great about Scaredy is that he could be like a flying squirrel. So you had the idea of a squirrel, the tree, the nuts. It was a nice metaphor about, you know, having every element you need. But at the same time, I wanted that animal to have something about him that was special, but he never knew because he never leaped out of his tree or took any risks.
Great. Mira asks, and this could be something, because I know that this was just released, but what's next for Scaredy Squirrel? If you could hint on an adventure that may be coming up.
Well, he's gonna make more friends. So he's gonna be talking to different new friends with different personalities, some that are almost the opposite of him. So that makes for interesting discussions where maybe he'll meet someone that is not afraid of anything, and they're going to try to work on a project together or get something done, which is going to be a lot of fun. And it's been a lot of fun for me to work on that book. It's actually just finished, so I'm really excited about it.
And hopefully in-person events. All right, Amaya and her son ask, will we ever see a Chester graphic novel?
Maybe. Who knows? You never know.
You're very good at keeping secrets, I have to say. I feel like I can tell you anything because you're not going to spill the beans.
Well, right now there's nothing concrete on the subject, but I know there are Chester fans out there. They're telling me, they're asking, and I keep saying right now in the third book, the way it ended was that he had no more marker. So when he comes back, it's going to be big. It's got to be big because it's Chester and he's been waiting a while. So that would be fun for sure.
Yes, it would be. We can't wait. Emily asks, was there a teacher that encouraged you when you were a kid?
Oh yeah, lots of teachers encouraged me, especially art teachers, because I like to draw, but I never thought it could be a career or something to do as I got older. But my art teachers really encouraged me and told me that, you know, I had something and I should continue practicing and developing my talent. And it's because of a teacher at university that I wrote my first book, Leon the Chameleon. Without her, I would not be writing kids' books today because it wasn't even part of my idea of possibilities. So I owe it to her. Michel Lemieux.
We all remember one of our teachers, right? Marissa asks, and I know this is difficult to answer because the books are like your children, but what has been your favorite Scaredy Squirrel book to write and to illustrate?
I think it's Scaredy Squirrel in a nutshell. So
and the reason
because it's different, it's new, it's I don't know, I one of my favorites from the picture books is also Scaredy Makes a Friend, but in the graphic novel, I don't know, I got to discover another side of me, in terms of storytelling, doing jokes and art, because I feel like I'm drawing differently. It's been like I've been doing kids books for 20 years and art evolves. So, you know, I'm really happy with it.
Good. Sarah asks, I love the art loving Augustine. Could there be another? Yes. So will there be another book?
I don't know. I don't. It wasn't planned. No, I think I saw it as a one-off book, Augustine. Actually, it's inspired by my childhood. So
Sarah also asked, and this might be a different Sarah, so I'm not sure, but we know that you are bilingual, so you speak both French and English.
Yes.
When you are writing down your ideas and thinking about the process, are you thinking in English or are you thinking in French?
I'm thinking in both. It's it's funny because some of the sentences I write can be translated word to word in French and it's kind of my style now because it's how I think. And I want the jokes to work in both languages. Like when you use wordplay for certain jokes, like they don't always work in French. Like I can't say, like, for example, nutty. Nutty doesn't really exist in French, that word. So I'm always thinking of, okay, then what am I going to do how to make it funny, but in French. So yeah, it's kind of like a whole mix up of things.
I think it's also great to note that obviously the book's available in French, and I hope that the link has been dropped into the chat functionality. So for any of you out there, the book is definitely available in French. We're going to take a couple of more questions. Elena asks, what is Scary's favorite food?
Nuts. Acorns, nuts. I think that's the favorite. And it's part of like the problem in this book. I can show you one of the pages where this becomes an issue. This part right here. So what happens when nuts is your favorite food and the only thing you eat and they just suddenly fall out?
You gotta find the nuts.
You gotta do something about it. So that's that's what I would say. And I just wanted to mention that in French, Scaredy Squirrel is Frisson l'écureuil, en bref. That's the title of Scaredy Squirrel in a nutshell.
Wonderful. This was so great. I want to leave you with the last word. So Melanie, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for this wonderful gift, which is this graphic novel, along with all of your other books. You have added so much joy to so many families across the globe. It is true. It is 100% true. What is your message to all the kids out there as we hopefully see the light at the end of the tunnel? What's your message for all the kids for the summer and I guess for the fall?
Well, I would continue to be cautious, but it's not that bad. I think it's I'm trying to be encouraging because I would keep the Purell nearby personally, just in case. Why not? I've had it for 15 years. Like why not? But I think you have to stay hopeful that things might not come back. Well, they might not come back exactly like they were, but I'm sure there has to be like some positive out of this situation that comes out. Like sometimes things happen and they help us discover something about ourselves, kind of like Scaredy discovers something every time he steps out of his comfort zone. So I'm hoping that this is what Scaredy can help kids realize about this situation that's going on. And it's not easy, but we have to stay hopeful.
Well, that are great words. I want to thank you. I want to thank our partners in the States, An Unlikely Story. We want everyone out there to read. School may be done in a few weeks. Keep reading. Melanie, let's make a promise that when this is all over, we can have you in store for a story time and a book signing. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Yay. Everybody out there,
of course.
Stay safe, stay healthy. Have a great summer. Melanie, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you for everyone who worked backstage, the publisher, Penguin Random House. All the best, everybody. Have a great day. Bye. Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you very much.